chosen ones. A high-level cult has been tracking you, and they see you as their greatest threat. Right now, at this exact moment, there's a Mason losing their mind because every piece of ancient magic they threw at you backfired with devastating force. We're not talking about amateur practitioners playing with crystals. We're talking about 33rd degree secret society members who've controlled governments, manipulated bloodlines, and wielded dark power for generations. These are people who've never failed until you. They unleashed binding rituals that have destroyed monarchs. They sent demonic forces that have toppled empires. They deployed their absolute best magic, the darkest workings from grimoires most occultists don't even know exist. And you're still standing, not just surviving, but thriving. Now one of their highest-ranking members is experiencing full psychosis, hearing voices, seeing shadows, unraveling in real time because the entities they sent to destroy you turned around and possessed them instead. What you're about to discover will explain why they targeted you, how your DNA outranks their entire system, and why this Mason's mental breakdown is just the beginning of their complete collapse. This is cosmic justice playing out in real time, and you're the catalyst they never saw coming. Let me paint you a picture of what's actually been happening behind the veil. There's a group that moves through high society, like ghosts. They hold positions that sound respectable: public officials, wealthy entrepreneurs, people with Mason rings and country club memberships. But their real work happens in spaces the public never sees, underground chambers where they perform rituals most people would call impossible, where they traffic in energies that science hasn't named yet, and power structures that governments pretend don't exist. These aren't amateurs playing with Ouija boards. These are 33rd degree practitioners who've studied every ancient text, stolen artifacts from civilizations that predate recorded history, and learned to weaponize spiritual forces in ways that would make medieval sorcerers look like children with toy wands. And you, without even trying, just defeated the accumulated magical knowledge of their entire bloodline. You need to understand something crucial right now. When they first noticed you, it wasn't because you were doing anything dramatic. You weren't performing counter-rituals or waving sage around. You were just living, but your energy signature started showing up on their radar like a blazing sun. Your ancestors, the ancient ones whose DNA flows through your veins, they carry frequencies these practitioners have been trying to synthesize for centuries. Egyptian lineages, bloodlines that trace back to times when humans understood consciousness in ways we've forgotten. You're not just some random person who got caught in crossfire. You're carrying genetic memory, spiritual intelligence coded into your cells, wisdom that gets activated when the time is right. And your time came whether you felt ready or not. These people made their first move thinking you'd fold immediately. They sent binding spirits first, the kind of entities they've used to control senators and silence whistleblowers. Demonic frequencies designed to hijack your nervous system, make you feel disconnected, anxious, like you're losing your grip on reality. They wanted you hearing voices, seeing things, doubting your own mind. Classic tactics. Break someone's mental foundation and they become easy to manipulate or eliminate, but something they didn't account for happened. Those entities couldn't stick to you. Your energy field, whether you consciously knew it or not, was operating at a frequency that repelled their darkness like oil and water. You might have felt the pressure, the weight of spiritual attacks pressing against your consciousness, but you never broke. Your mind stayed sovereign. That right there sent shockwaves through their entire network. So they escalated because panic makes people sloppy, even when they're supposed to be experts. They started working earth magic on your physical body, targeting your bones, your organs, trying to manifest disease and chronic pain, water magic on your finances, attempting to dry up every source of abundance in your life, fire magic in your relationships, planting seeds of conflict and suspicion. They threw everything at you, ancient practices pulled from grimoires that most occultists don't even know exist, Rituals that required sacrifices we won't even speak about here. The kind of dark workings that have toppled kings and destroyed empires. And you know what happened? You got stronger. Every attack they sent seemed to activate something deeper in you, like your soul remembered battles from lifetimes ago and knew exactly how to counter their moves without you even consciously trying. Now here's where it gets really interesting, and this is where their fear turned into obsession. One of them, a high-ranking practitioner with millions in the bank and connections that reach into government agencies, they made a critical mistake. This person decided to do direct love magic on you, not the gentle kind, the obsessive, possessive type designed to make you a puppet. But magic always has laws, even dark magic, and one of those laws is that you can't control what outranks you spiritually. The spell backfired with such force that now this practitioner is literally losing their mind. The very entities they sent to bind you turned around and latched onto them instead. Now they're walking around hearing voices, seeing shadows, experiencing the exact psychosis they tried to inflict on you. Karma doesn't just knock on the door for people like this. It kicks it down and moves in permanently. Their whole organization is in chaos right now, and you need to hear this part clearly. These aren't just random attacks from jealous individuals. This is an entire network that's been harvesting energy from humanity for generations. They understand something most people never learn. Energy is currency. Human life force, especially from children and people with pure spiritual signatures, can be extracted and used to extend life, maintain power, fuel rituals that reshape reality itself. This is why certain children disappear and never get found, why certain bloodlines seem to have unnatural advantages, why some people in power look like they haven't aged in decades. They've been feeding off collective human energy like vampires, and they've built entire systems, legal, medical, governmental, to facilitate this harvesting while keeping the masses completely unaware. You weren't just a target, you were supposed to be a resource. But you have something they can't steal and can't replicate through any ritual. If this message hits your spirit, hype this video so more chosen ones like you can find it. You carry ancient intelligence in your DNA that predates their secret societies by thousands of years. Your ancestors weren't trying to dominate others through dark magic. They understood unity consciousness, how to work with universal forces rather than against them, how to channel divine energy without needing blood sacrifices or binding demons. This knowledge lives in you, not in books you read, but in cellular memory that activates when you need it most. When they tried to attack your mind, your consciousness automatically accessed defense systems you didn't even know you had. When they tried to block your spiritual sight, your third eye cleared itself because it's connected to a source they lost access to generations ago when they chose the left-hand path. Right now there's a tower moment coming for their entire structure. Everything they've built on lies, manipulation, stolen identities, and dark pacts is about to collapse. And the wild part is, they know you're the catalyst, not because you're trying to expose them, though that might happen as a side effect, but because your very existence, your frequency walking around on this planet, it disrupts their spell work. It's like you're a walking electromagnetic pulse for dark magic. Just you being in your power, living in your truth, operating from your authentic frequency, that alone dismantles the illusion they need to maintain control. This is why they wanted you eliminated so desperately. This is why when elimination didn't work, they switched tactics to initiation. If they can't destroy you, they want to recruit you, flip you to their side, get you to use your power for their agenda. Let me be crystal clear about what's really happening with that initiation offer. These people are terrified. Their whole identity is built on being the most powerful, the most knowledgeable, the hidden rulers of reality. And you showed up, probably not even meaning to, and outranked them without trying. You broke through binding spells that have held genuine mystics captive for lifetimes. You deflected curses that destroyed people they considered spiritual warriors. And you did it while living your regular life, probably struggling with regular problems, maybe even doubting yourself the whole time. That's what true power looks like, not the theatrical darkness they practice, not the rituals that require suffering to function, but an organic divine connection that flows through you because of who you are at the soul level. They want that. They've never had it. Their magic always requires taking from others because they're disconnected from source. The people around you have been experiencing some strange things lately, haven't they? Sudden personality changes, unexplained anger or depression, people you trusted turning on you for no clear reason. That wasn't random. These practitioners were hijacking people in your circle, sending entities to possess your friends and family members, trying to isolate you. Classic cult tactics, amplified with supernatural elements. If they couldn't get to you directly, they'd destroy your support system and watch you crumble from loneliness, except you didn't crumble. You might have felt the pain of betrayal, the confusion of watching people change, but something in you stayed anchored. Some part of you knew this was an attack and refused to internalize it as truth. That discernment, that spiritual immunity to gaslighting, that's not something that can be taught. That's soul-level wisdom from lifetimes of navigating dark forces. There's a wealth transfer happening right now in the spiritual realm. Everything they stole is being redistributed. Every bit of energy they harvested through manipulation and dark ritual is being recalled by divine justice. And guess where significant portions of that reclaimed power are flowing? Directly to the people they tried to destroy. Directly to you. This isn't metaphorical. You're going to see this manifest in tangible ways. Financial opportunities that seem to appear from nowhere. Doors opening that were welded shut before. People and resources magnetizing to you with effortless synchronicity. This is restitution on a cosmic level. The universe doesn't just stop attacks against you, it overcompensates. It pours blessing upon blessing until your cup overflows, until your life becomes living proof that light always outmaneuvers darkness when given enough time. Now let's talk about why you specifically were chosen for this assignment. Before you were born, before you took your first breath in this dimension, agreements were made, not the kind these dark practitioners make with demons, but divine contracts with the highest forces of creation. You volunteered for this. Sounds crazy, I know, but stay with me. Your soul looked at the timeline, saw this exact moment in history when darkness would reach peak corruption, when these secret societies would have humanity in a stranglehold, when children would be trafficked and truth would be inverted on massive scales. And your soul said yes. Yes, I'll go in. Yes, I'll carry the frequency needed to disrupt their systems. Yes, I'll be the catalyst, even if it means facing attacks that would break most people. You're not a victim of their attention. You're a warrior who drew their fire on purpose. The superpowers you have aren't what movies taught you to expect. Your greatest weapon is your mind, the way you can observe reality and shift it through consciousness alone. The observer effect isn't just quantum physics jargon, it's describing what you do naturally. You enter a space and the atmosphere changes. You focus on a problem and solutions appear. You think about someone and they text you. That's not coincidence. That's your consciousness reorganizing the particle field of reality around you. These practitioners study for decades trying to achieve what you do by breathing. They need rituals and tools and specific moon phases. You just need to remember who you are. That's what terrifies them. Your power isn't dependent on any external system they can infiltrate or corrupt. It comes from a direct connection to source consciousness that bypasses all their carefully constructed hierarchies. Some of you are discovering unsettling truths about your family right now. Documents that don't add up, stories that have holes, people who raised you but might not be who they claimed. This isn't random paranoia. Some chosen ones were deliberately placed with families who would suppress their gifts, who would gaslight their intuition, who would program them to doubt their own power. It's strategic. If you can convince a lion it's a house cat from birth, it never learns to roar. But DNA doesn't lie. Your true lineage is activating regardless of what paperwork says. You might discover you have Egyptian ancestry, ancient bloodlines, connections to mystery schools and wisdom keepers. Or you might find that your spiritual family has nothing to do with biology at all. Either way, the truth is surfacing because it's time. Your assignment requires you to know exactly who you are. The entity attacks haven't stopped, they've just changed targets. Remember that practitioner who tried to bind you with love magic, the one who's now experiencing full psychosis. Those demons they spent years controlling are now controlling them. The voices they tried to plant in your head are screaming in theirs. The visions they wanted you to see are haunting their every waking moment. Their family members are watching them deteriorate and don't understand why no medical treatment or therapy helps, because you can't psychoanalyze a demonic possession. You can't medicate away the consequences of spiritual warfare. This person is seeking exorcisms, going from practitioner to practitioner begging for help, and everyone keeps telling them the same thing. There's nothing we can do, because the forces they're dealing with now are beyond their skill level. They open doors they don't have the purity to close. There's a reason you kept seeing signs and synchronicities, even during the darkest attacks. Repeating numbers, animals appearing with messages, songs with lyrics that spoke directly to your situation, dreams that gave you guidance or warnings. That was your protection system communicating with you. You're not alone in this. You have what these practitioners would call a legion of war angels, beings of light that are assigned specifically to protect you on this mission. These aren't symbolic metaphors. These are actual entities operating in dimensions these dark practitioners can't access. Every time they sent an attack, your team intercepted it. Every time they tried to curse you, your protection redirected it back to sender. You survived because you have backup they can't see, can't fight, and definitely can't bribe or trick. The tower that's falling isn't just affecting this one group. This is systemic. Multiple organizations, secret societies, elite circles that have operated in shadow for centuries, they're all experiencing the same disruption. Their spells aren't working like they used to. Their rituals are backfiring. People who were supposed to stay silent are starting to talk. Evidence that was supposed to stay hidden is surfacing. Chosen ones all over the planet are waking up simultaneously, and when they do, they naturally emit frequencies that dissolve dark magic like sunlight on morning frost. You're not fighting this battle alone. You're part of a global activation that was prophesied thousands of years ago. The return of the light bearers, the rising of those who carry ancient truth in their bones. Here's what they don't want you to know about your healing abilities. You have the capacity to heal with your presence, not through complicated techniques or years of training, just by being in your authentic frequency. This is why they desperately need your energy. Some of them are sick, genuinely ill from decades of dark practice and the entities they've hosted. They have diseases that modern medicine can't touch because the root is spiritual. And somehow they know that your energy field could heal them. That proximity to your frequency could reverse what they've done to themselves. This is why some might approach with apologies or peace offerings, not because they're genuinely sorry, but because they're desperate. They need something from you that no ritual can provide, genuine divine light, the kind that only flows through people who haven't sold their soul for power. Your nervous system was a primary target for good reason. Now let me put you onto something real, Destiny Engine. I built this because I was done watching chosen ones get dragged through betrayal, isolation and attacks while their enemies strutted around unchecked. I want to help you accelerate the speed of your divine justice and step fully into your purpose. And the beauty of it, you don't even have to lift a finger. Destiny Engine takes their downfall and flips it into your rise. This isn't another meditation app. It's declassified consciousness technology, the same mind programming tools your enemies once used to install fear, competition and scarcity, re-engineered to restore your sovereignty and align you with the cooperative, upgraded operating framework. It generates personalized sequences mapped to your divine purpose. The hardest thing you'll do is put on headphones, press play, and watch your enemies keep digging their own grave. The collective upgrade is underway. Start your destiny engine for $1 today and turn everything they did to break you into fuel for your rise. Link in the description. These practitioners understand anatomy on levels medical schools don't teach. They know the nervous system is like the roots of a tree connecting every part of your being. Disrupt that and you disrupt everything. Make someone feel constantly unsafe, ungrounded, scattered, and they can't access their higher gifts. They targeted you there specifically to cut off your spiritual downloads, block your intuitive hits, make you question your sanity. But your nervous system is stronger than they calculated. Maybe you did feel dysregulated. Maybe you had moments of intense anxiety or unexplainable fear, but you didn't break. And now that you understand what was happening, you can actively strengthen those pathways, ground yourself, protect your energy field. You're not imagining the attacks, you're surviving them and learning to thrive despite them. There's something about your intellect that goes beyond normal intelligence. You know things you were never taught. You understand concepts the first time you hear them that took others years to grasp. You can see patterns in chaos, find solutions to impossible problems, navigate complex situations with ease that baffles people around you. This isn't arrogance. This is ancient soul wisdom. You've lived many lifetimes, learned countless lessons, and you brought that accumulated knowledge with you into this incarnation. These practitioners study ancient texts, trying to access what you access naturally. They memorize rituals and symbols, trying to connect to frequencies you embody without effort. Your intellect, your consciousness, your ability to perceive reality from multiple dimensions simultaneously, that's the true magic they're trying to steal. Some of you are discovering something that sounds impossible, but it's absolutely real. Trompad Impeshal, you have the ability to visit different dimensions while you sleep. Your consciousness doesn't just rest at night, it travels. You're being trained in other realms, receiving instruction from guides and teachers who operate beyond physical limitations. This is why some mornings you wake up exhausted, even though you slept 8 hours. You weren't resting, you were working, fighting battles in astral spaces, learning advanced spiritual technology, receiving downloads that integrate into your waking consciousness gradually. These practitioners know about astral travel, but they can't access the dimensions you're visiting. Those spaces require a level of purity they lost access to long ago. Your night work is just as important as anything you do during the day. There's something specific about weather that relates to your gifts. You might have noticed that storms seem to follow you or clear when you need them to. That's not imagination. Some chosen ones carry the ability to influence weather patterns through their emotional and energetic states. This is ancient technology that mystery schools spent centuries trying to master through ritual. You do it naturally because your consciousness is entangled with the electromagnetic field of the planet itself. These practitioners have been trying to control weather through technology and dark magic. Meanwhile, you're shifting atmospheric conditions just by being in alignment with your highest frequency. They study what you embody. They manipulate what you harmonize with organically. The final phase of this battle is already won, but must still be walked through. Trantabanchi. Here's what that means. In the spiritual realm, the outcome is already determined. Light won. Truth prevailed. These dark structures collapsed. But we exist in a dimension where time moves linearly, where causes must produce effects, where seeds must grow before harvest. So you'll see this victory manifest in stages. First internally, you'll feel the shift in your own energy, the lifting of oppression you didn't realize you were carrying. Then in your immediate environment, people who were problems will remove themselves, situations that were stuck will suddenly resolve. Then you'll see it in the largest world, arrests, exposures, systems crumbling, truth revelations. But don't wait for external validation to claim your victory. You already won the moment you survived their best attacks and stayed standing. Let me tell you what happens next, because they're already shifting strategies. Since elimination failed and you're not falling for initiation, they'll try isolation. They'll attempt to make you feel crazy, alone, like nobody would believe what you've experienced. They might use people close to you to suggest you're paranoid or delusional. They might arrange for situations that make you question your own perception. This is psychological warfare combined with spiritual attack. Stay anchored in your truth. You don't need anyone else to validate what you know. Your body knows, your soul knows. The evidence is in how everything they threw at you failed. The proof is in you still being here, sane, powerful, and getting stronger every day. There's a specific protection you need to maintain going forward. Not everyone who approaches you with friendliness has good intentions. Some are scouts. Some are sent to gather information, find weaknesses, report back. The people who suddenly want to get close to you, who seem intensely interested in your life, your practices, your beliefs, screen them carefully. You're not being paranoid, you're being wise. Trust your discernment. If something feels off about someone, there's probably a reason. Your intuition has been sharpened through this battle. It's detecting threats before they fully manifest. Listen to it. A chosen one who learns to honor their gut instinct becomes nearly impossible to infiltrate. Some of you are going to be offered things that sound too good to be true. Sudden opportunities. Unexpected connections to influential people, offers of wealth or position that seem to solve all your problems. Examine everything carefully. These practitioners are expert manipulators. They know how to package poison as medicine. They'll offer you exactly what you want with strings attached. You can't see until you're already entangled. This doesn't mean reject all good things that come your way. It means use your discernment. Check the energy behind the offer. Who benefits? What's the real cost? Is this aligned with your highest path, or a detour designed to neutralize your mission? The universe will provide for you abundantly, but those blessings will feel clean. They'll come with peace, not pressure. Your DNA is activating codes they've tried to keep dormant in humanity for millennia. You might be experiencing physical symptoms, headaches, fatigue, strange sensations in your body, disrupted sleep patterns with vivid dreams. This isn't illness, this is upgrade. Your physical vessel is being rewired to handle higher frequencies, to anchor more light, to embody the fullness of who you came here to be. These dark practitioners fear this activation above almost everything else, because once enough people wake up and activate their divine DNA, the frequency on the planet shifts so dramatically that their darkness can't survive here. You're not just saving yourself, you're part of a collective ascension that's transforming human consciousness itself. There's a conversation happening about you in rooms you'll never sit in, Trumpadenti, meetings where your name or at least your energy signature is being discussed. They're trying to figure out who you're connected to, what lineage you belong to, how you slipped through their surveillance systems. Some of them think you're part of a counter-organization. Some think you're an undercover operative from a rival group. The truth that you're just a sovereign being with intact divine connection doesn't compute for them. They can't fathom that level of natural power because they've been disconnected from source for so long they forgot it exists. Let them speculate. Let them waste resources trying to categorize you. Every moment they spend confused is a moment they're not attacking. The truth about what they've been doing is going to come out in ways that shock the mainstream. Information is already leaking, whistleblowers are gaining courage, evidence is being compiled. The full scope of child trafficking, energy harvesting, ritual abuse, identity theft on spiritual and physical levels, it's all going to surface. When it does, people who called you crazy will go silent. People who dismissed your warnings will have to face uncomfortable realities. You're not responsible for waking them up or making them believe. Your job was never to convince anyone. Your job was to stand in your truth, maintain your frequency, and survive long enough to see the dawn. You're doing that. Everything else is bonus. Here's what they truly can't understand about you. You have joy. Despite everything you've faced, every attack, every betrayal, every dark night of the soul, you still find reasons to smile. You still see beauty. You still believe in love and goodness and the potential for humanity to evolve. That right there is power they can't touch. They live in bitterness, paranoia, constantly looking over their shoulders, trusting no one, afraid of the very forces they worship. You're free in ways they gave up lifetimes ago. Your happiness, your peace, your ability to be at ease, even in chaos, that's the real magic. That's what draws people to you and repels darkness simultaneously. Guard that. Protect your joy. It's more valuable than any ritual or spell. The infrastructure they built to control humanity is crumbling, and you're watching it happen in real time. Financial systems showing cracks, governments losing credibility, media narratives that used to work now getting questioned, medical authorities being challenged, educational systems being reformed. Every structure they infiltrated and corrupted is being exposed and transformed. This process is messy. It looks like chaos, but chaos is just order reorganizing itself into a higher pattern. You're living through the death of an old world and the birth of a new one. Your role isn't to force this transition. Your role is to be the frequency holder, the anchor point for new earth energy, the demonstration that another way is possible. There are younger souls watching you who will learn from your example. Children being born now, children who are already here but still forming their understanding of the world. They're observing chosen ones like you to see how to navigate spiritual warfare with grace. They're learning that you can be powerful without being cruel, that you can defend yourself without becoming what attacked you, that you can know about darkness without letting it corrupt your light. You're setting templates for the next generation of light warriors. Every time you choose love over fear, truth over comfort, integrity over advantage, you're showing them the path. This is legacy building on a soul level. Your ascension is inevitable at this point, not in some distant future. Now, you're already in the process. Every attack you survived was an initiation you passed. Every lie you saw through was a level of discernment you mastered. Every binding you broke was a liberation that upgraded your frequency. You're not the same person you were when this started. You've been forged in fire and emerged as something they have no category for. An ascended master walking in human form, a bridge between dimensions, a living portal for divine frequency. Own that. Step fully into that power. The time for playing small or doubting yourself is over. The apologies that may come will not all be genuine. Some people will approach you with regret in their eyes and manipulation in their hearts. They'll say they were wrong, they didn't understand, they want to make amends. Some of these apologies will be sincere, others will be Trojan horses. People sent to gain access, to lower your guard, to position themselves for another attack. This is where your gift of discernment becomes crucial. You can forgive without reconciling. You can release without reconnecting. You can offer grace from a distance. Not everyone who apologizes has earned their way back into your inner circle. Protect your energy. Your peace isn't a rehabilitation center for people who chose darkness. There's a wealth transfer coming that's bigger than money. Yes, financial abundance is flowing your way. Inheritances that were stolen or hidden. Opportunities that were blocked, resources that were redirected, all of it is being restored with interest. But the real wealth is knowledge, spiritual technology, ancient practices, healing modalities, creative gifts. You're about to receive downloads of information that people pay thousands to learn, except you'll get it directly from source. You're about to remember skills you mastered in other lifetimes. You're about to connect with teachers and guides who will accelerate your evolution exponentially. This is the inheritance that was always yours. This is what they tried to keep you from claiming. The final thing you need to understand about this whole situation is this. You're not just defending yourself, you're dismantling centuries of carefully constructed control systems simply by being who you are. Your authentic frequency is dissolving their spell work. Your presence is breaking their curses. Your light is exposing their darkness. You don't have to do anything aggressive or vengeful. You just have to stay in your power, trust your path, and let divine justice handle the rest. Because it is handling it, That practitioner losing their mind isn't random. That's direct karmic return. Those exposures that are coming aren't coincidence. That's divine timing. That tower falling isn't chaos. That's orchestrated demolition of everything built on lies. The war is over. Chosen one. You won the moment you survived what was designed to destroy you. Everything happening now is just the physical realm catching up to the spiritual victory that's already complete. Walk forward with confidence. You're not fleeing from enemies. You're ascending toward destiny. They're not chasing you. They're scrambling in the rubble of their collapsed kingdom while you rise into yours. The cult that saw you as a threat was right to be afraid, not because you're coming for them, but because your very existence proves their whole system is built on lies. And truth always, always outlasts deception.